I just made Shohei Ohtani hit against Shohei Ohtani 1,000 times. Well, kind of. Let me explain. Ever since Shohei Ohtani entered the world of professional baseball as the first true two-way player, he has completely changed the way we look at the game. On the mound, he pitches like a true ace of the rotation, with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball and an ungodly slider and splitter to boot. At the plate, he is arguably the best designated hitter in baseball, hitting over 80 home runs in the last 2 years alone. In his time in MLB, he has proven that he can hit all the best pitchers and dominate all the best hitters at the same time. But of course, this leaves just one question on the mind of baseball fans everywhere. What would happen if Shohei the hitter went up against Shohei the pitcher? It's a question that has followed Ohtani for years, first in Japan and now in the United States. But while it's fun to play the matchup in a video game or debate hypotheticals with your friends, it isn't a question that we can actually answer in real life. Or can we? A couple years ago, I created a model that allows you to predict the outcome of an at-bat between a specific hitter and a specific pitcher. And now that we have 2 full years of data from Shohei as both a hitter and a pitcher, I feel like this will be the perfect tool for us to answer this question. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of how everything works, I gave a presentation on this model at the Sabre Analytics conference last year, and I'll link to that video down below. But for those of you who just want me to get into it, here's the gist of how it works. Essentially, the model takes pitch-by-pitch data for a player over a certain period of time, and it sorts each pitch by count and by outcome. It then uses this data to generate probabilities of that outcome occurring on that specific count. Once we've calculated these outcomes for both the pitcher and the hitter, we combine the two together to create a unified data set, and this data is what we will use for the simulation. On any given simulated pitch, there are 2 main types of outcomes that can occur. The pitch can end in a strike, ball, or foul ball, in which case the model just moves on to the next count, or the at-bat can end on a ball in play, a walk, or a strikeout. And it's those latter outcomes that we're going to be recording in this experiment. So here's the game plan when it comes to Ohtani. First, I'm going to set up the model according to his pitching and hitting data from the past 2 years as if they were 2 separate people. Then, I'm going to use this data to run 1,000 simulated plate appearances and record the outcome of each one. And finally, we will tally up the total statistics for Shohei the hitter to determine which side has the upper hand. To give you an idea of how this will work, let's go through the first plate appearance together. In this at-bat, pitcher Ohtani gets off to a fast start, quickly recording 1 strike and then another. On 0-2, hitter Ohtani manages to get a piece of 1 to keep the at-bat alive. But unfortunately for him, he hits 1 in play for an out to end the at-bat. 1 at-bat down, another 999 plate appearances to go. But of course, since I'm doing this all on my computer, it only took me a few seconds to get all the data we need from this experiment. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at how the Shoheis did against each other. First, the raw data. In 1,000 plate appearances, hitter Ohtani managed to record 195 hits, including 105 singles, 39 doubles, 6 triples, and 45 home runs. On top of that, he posted 95 walks, but a whopping 294 strikeouts, a number that we're going to come back to in a little bit. In terms of stats, he had a slash line consisting of a .215 batting average, a .290 on base percentage, and a .421 slugging percentage. That's good enough for a .711 OPS, or on base plus slugging. To put this in context, that is right around the average OPS across MLB in 2022. However, it's important to note that this is also much better than the .598 OPS he's given up as a pitcher this season. In this matchup, the strengths of both Ohtanis are fully on display. When he's on the mound, pitcher Ohtani is one of the best strikeout pitchers in all of baseball. In 2022, he has recorded around 12 strikeouts for every 9 innings he's pitched, a strikeout rate that ranks 3rd in baseball among all pitchers with 100 innings pitched. And he certainly puts that strikeout power to good use in his matchup with hitter Ohtani. Nearly 30% of their plate appearances ended in a strikeout, whereas hitter Ohtani has only struck out in about 24% of his plate appearances in 2022. This certainly put a dent in hitter Ohtani's numbers, but he was able to fight back with the help of the long ball. When he's locked in, Hitter Ohtani is one of the best pure power hitters in all of baseball. In 2022, his average exit velocity, max exit velocity, and hard hit rate were all in the 90th percentile or better among all MLB hitters. Which is just a nerdy way of saying that he hits the ball really fucking hard. A trait that helped him hit nearly 50 home runs last season alone. And even up against a tough opponent like pitcher Ohtani, his power still shines through. During their 1,000 matchups, he hit 1 home run every 22 plate appearances, which is close to his actual home run rate in 2022. And those 45 long balls that he hit almost single-handedly kept his offensive production at a league average level. However, this combination of Ohtani's strengths leads us to a pretty interesting observation about this matchup. With roughly 30% of the plate appearances ending in a strikeout, 10% ending in a walk, and 5% ending in a homer, nearly half of these plate appearances don't involve the defense at all, or even require Shohei to use his 80-grade speed on the base paths. This means that for all intents and purposes, this matchup is truly a one-on-one battle between the two Ohtanis. And personally, I found that to be pretty cool. So with all of this being said, what can we actually learn from these 1,000 plate appearances? Well, from my perspective, it definitely seems like pitcher Ohtani has an advantage over hitter Ohtani. Though his strikeout rate has been better this season than it has been in the past, hitter Ohtani's biggest weakness has always been the strikeout. And with strikeouts being pitcher Ohtani's biggest strength, there's an obvious matchup advantage here that favors the pitcher, and we can see it in the numbers. Going up against pitcher Ohtani, hitter Ohtani was barely able to get his batting average over the Mendoza line, and the additional strikeouts certainly didn't help matters. But that's not to say that this matchup was completely one-sided. Hitter Ohtani's raw power makes him a threat in every single matchup he's in, and he's proven time and time again that even if a pitcher is able to overpower him, all it takes is one mistake pitch for him to even the playing field. However, even though I think hitter Ohtani would make it a competitive matchup, I ultimately think that pitcher Ohtani would be the clear winner if they were actually to face off in real life. But now that you've seen the data, I'd like to hear what you think in the comments down below. Do you also think that pitcher Ohtani would win this matchup, or do you think I'm just underestimating hitter Ohtani's ability? Either way, I'd really like to hear what you guys think. But if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that Shohei Ohtani is a gift to the game of baseball. And we are all really damn lucky that we get to watch him do the things that he does on a nightly basis. Thank you for watching.